I wanted to talk today about something you've probably been told is essential for your clinic's growth, and that is SEO, or search engine optimization. I want to challenge some of the typical advice that you've heard. A lot of marketing agencies will tell you that ranking number one on Google is the most important thing you can do. They promise that if you invest in the right SEO strategy, leads will come flooding in because they'll get you to the number one ranking. Yes, Google ranking is important, but just being at the top doesn't actually guarantee patience. Why? Being number one doesn't mean anything if your content doesn't resonate with people who see it. So take a step back and really think about that. Search engines, like Google, they're just tools, right? And here's a semi-contrarian view. Optimizing for people is more important than optimizing for Google's algorithm. SEO is often treated as if it's all about catering to Google's robots, the keywords, the metadata, backlinks, but at the end of the day, it's a human being that is reading it, a potential patient or lead that is reading it. So if you're too focused on keywords and metadata, you're going to sound like a robot. You need content that speaks to real people. Optimize it for real people. So let's talk a little bit about keywords. You've probably also been told to pack your website full of relevant keywords so that Google thinks that your site is extremely relevant. But keywords aren't magic. Just stuffing your site with terms like best fertility clinic or best chiropractor near me won't make Google or your patients fall in love with you. It actually could have the opposite effect because Google's algorithms are getting smarter and can tell when you're keyword stuffing. Instead, you should focus on the questions that your potential patients actually have. When people search for healthcare services, they're often stressed, confused, or in pain, and you should address that in your content. That's exactly why we've launched this series on what to write about. So let's break down a more complex term, long tail keywords. It sounds techy, but it's actually really simple. Instead of targeting broad terms like dentist, which everyone else is also going after, these long tail keywords focus on more specific phrases like pediatric dentist in your city who specializes in anxiety, or fertility clinic in city that has the best delivery rate. When you address these things, it's going to find people and patients that are ready to book appointments. Think of it as like fishing with a net instead of a spear. You're more likely to catch the fish that are already interested in your bait. You want to make sure that you're optimizing for longer phrases that people are actually going to be searching for. You also want to make sure that you're avoiding content gaps. It's simply the topics that your patient cares about, but that no one else is answering online. For example, many fertility clinics write about general treatments, but are they also addressing the emotional journey that patients will go through, or the lesser-known side effects of certain treatments? If you create content that fills these gaps, not only will you get noticed by Google, but you'll also build trust with your audience. And lastly, you don't want to ignore the local factor. If you're a local healthcare clinic, focus on local SEO. When people are searching for services like fertility clinics, chiropractors, urgent cares, med spas, they're looking for someone nearby. Make sure your clinic's address, phone number, and services are up to date and consistent on Google My Business, Yelp, and other online listings and directories. This is a low-hanging fruit that can boost your visibility without diving into complicated SEO tactics. The real takeaway is that SEO is not about gaming the system or tricking Google with technical tricks and jargon. It's about being useful to your patients. Optimize for them first, and then Google will follow. If you keep this in mind, your clinic will grow, not because you've mastered some elusive algorithm, but because you've earned the trust of people who matter most, your patients. I hope this was helpful and gave you something new to think about when it comes to SEO so that you can do an even better job building your clinic's presence online.